here in Australia, when you are to the east of the Great Dividing Range, it's like lush and tropical and rainforest, depending on, certain locations. But when you go west, it's like just like the west in the United States. Like you have desert, it's dry. It's very much the same. Like I find that really interesting.
That it is interesting because it's true. You don't think of certain places like that, but then like you hear about the outback in Australia,
Mhm.
you know.
Right.
But no, I tend to think more about the koala bears,
Which live
because they.
on this side of the dividing range, the one I live in, right? This tropical, lush, sort
Yeah,
of hotter as you go north, cooler as you go, or cold as you go south, but still like very full with like trees and all sorts of like rainforest. And then when you go west, it's like all dry. It's like desert. Yeah, very
yeah.
much like the US in that way.
73 degrees in Ohio. Nice. I don't
Yeah,
know
I don't
what
know.
it is here today.
I don't either. I don't know
We
what
get
it
a
is
weather
here
check.
either.
Go. I'm talking to my people. Anyway, so it's so good to be here. So good to be here. If you're out there, please say hello to us. Let us know what the temperature is where you are and where you are today in New Mexico. According to my sources, it is 84 degrees. It was pretty warm. It was pretty
Yeah.
warm, but it's so random because it can rain later in the afternoon and get cool. I don't know. I don't
Mm.
know. Global warming or just the way it is. Who knows?
All the things. All the things.
All
What
the
I
time.
do know is that you have the deck for us today and that you're going to shuffle our card for the week, pull our card for the week.
All right. This is our card pull of the week. This is where we see what has shown up or what is coming up or what's guiding us or what we think about what we pull and how we can pull it into our lives,
Hmm.
believing that everything is here to teach us something. So, what are we being asked and taught today? So, everybody out there, hold that in your intention and see how this plays into your life when Natasha tells me to stop.
Okay, you started shuffling?
Yeah.
Okay. Go, go ahead and stop.
All right. Uniquely myself.
Hmm.
There it is. Okay. Okay.
Oh, what a beautiful image.
Yeah. They're very pretty cards. Uniquely myself. It says, I trust that who I am is perfect for my unique journey and soul path.
Hmm. Hmm.
Interesting because the card right below it, which I just happened to have seen, is soul's journey. So clearly, it's something about the soul's journey, uniquely myself. I trust that
Hmm.
who I am is perfect for my unique journey and soul path.
Hmm.
What does that bring
Yeah.
up for you?
It makes me think about your voice, your outgoing voicemail message. You know that Dr. Seuss quote.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it also just makes sense, right? Like we're here to be who we are. We're here to discover what it means to be who we are. Like not what everybody else tells us we are or is. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I can't get my subjects and verbs to agree this morning. But we're here to discover what it means to be us. I think that's a fundamental principle, not just in New Thought, but in a lot of deeply spiritual and mystical traditions. It's like lean into who you are if you want to discover the divine, because the divine is here to show up as itself through each and every one of us. So you want
Yeah.
to know God? Lean into yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, I
Mm,
mean, that's the journey, right? That's the journey, is remembering, discovering, creating, whatever it is, who we are. Because so
mm,
much of the journey, I mean, we go from coming into the world knowing to learning all the other things that people think we should say or know or do or be,
yeah.
and then influenced by people and teachers and media and things, we may lose ourselves amidst
Mm,
that,
mm, mm,
and actually, Gil and I are teaching a class right now, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life,
mm,
loosely based on Ernest Holmes' book. And it's just so interesting. I think even the little nuances of taking yourself back,
mm,
taking reclaiming your spirit, and just even in your, and I do this all the time in my dialogue, like correcting things like, you know, like, things we say like, oh, you're killing me, or just the way we speak. And is that the truth? And I don't want to say that. I don't want to affirm that. I want to,
mm,
and so really being clear with affirming who I am and what's happening in a new way, as opposed to just in the way of being caught up in what I've been doing for
mm.
100 years.
Here in Australia, I think it's a little bit in the US as well, but like there's just a common saying like no worries, right? Like no worries. Like when
Right,
something is like easy, easy, it's like no worries. And
right,
I'm like I've been trying to like work with changing that language because like instead, so now I just say all good, or I say too easy, which they do say here, too easy. So I'm letting myself adopt some local colloquialisms that I feel like I've been in resistance to, but also I had absorbed some, right? I got really in the habit of like saying, oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, no, all good.
right. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just those little things. Just those little things they're just little nuances. And that's why I love it. I loved it when we were in Costa Rica and they say pura vida, pure life. Everything is pura vida, pure life. It's
Yep.
what happens. Life
Yep.
happens, life's good.
Yep.
I mean, it encompasses all of that. It's just like, you know, it's okay. Be in the
Hmm.
moment.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so this card says, I am different from all others, a one of a kind creation. I embrace the amazing truth and celebrate my uniqueness. It is fun to be myself and to express my spirit in creative ways. I have no
Mm,
need I have no need to compare myself with others when I am focused on my own unique being. I follow my own spirit, go my own way, grow at my own pace, and enjoy my own experience of life. I trust that who I am is perfect for my particular journey and soul path. I love the unique expression of myself on this planet and treasure my life as a sacred gift.
mm.
The affirmation is, I trust that who I am is perfect for my unique journey and soul path.
Ashe.
Yeah, amen. And that is the charge for each of us to remember that that's who we are, and that we all bring that unique piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. And how could it be any other way? When if I sit with it, I'm like, how could it really be any other way?
Yes, I agree with you. And, I think that's where we get tripped up sometimes, because then we see something we don't like or someone we don't agree with, or, some of the horrific things that have gone on in the world over the past couple of weeks. with shootings and this and that. And we go, well, how can that can't, how can they claim that as a uniquely you experience? How can that be in the positive? And so I think it's we got to remember it for ourselves as well as for others. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I think the thing is this, like, this is why, like, I get the language of positivity, but it's also why I don't do toxic positivity. Because I feel like positivity just puts us back in dualism and pulls us away from, like, unity consciousness. The thing, like, as a therapist and someone who's been in therapy, I feel like really what life is about is integrating the paradoxes of existence, integrating the contradictions that, like, of ourselves, right?
Yes.
Not denying, like, there's this part of me that I don't necessarily like, but integrating this part of me because at the end of the day, I might actually need that part of myself. But it depends, what I water is how I want to live. So I want to water peace, I want to water joy. But am I going to say, oh, like this? Uh, I had this conversation about, like, because my biological father, bless his soul, was nothing short of like a very ruthless man. And what I know is that I'm not him, and I did get some of that, right? Because we're wired that way to absorb in our nervous system the people who raise us. It's how we learn to survive them, right?
Mhm.
Like, that's why I always tell people, your kids will always know more about you than you do about them because they have to survive you. And because of that, I know I absorbed elements of my dad and my mom and my stepdad. And yeah, I don't water the seeds of that ruthlessness. I integrate it because I might need that one day. And the fact is, it does come out when it comes to my kids. I'm like, who is this person coming out? Like, it's like somebody, like, if they come for my kids, I'm just like, who's this person? It's the part of me. It's the part of me that needs to lay dormant and be integrated until I need it, but not to deny it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think anything should be denied. And just adding on to that, I would say too, for me, if I begin to look at the shadow parts of myself or the parts I don't like or the parts I didn't like about, generations gone by, you know, what are they here to teach me? And what can I learn
Hmm.
from them?
Absolutely.
And can I go, ruthless only sounds bad because that's what we've given it.
That's right.
That's the energy we've given it. But I mean, there's a lot of qualities to that, I would want my parents to be ruthless when it came to me on some level, as a kid. So it's really when you say that, it's like that's it's not that it's ruthless. It's you know, my kids are important to me. I will, be their advocate. I will fight for, what is right. I want equity. I want, blah, blah, blah. You get it. So it's like, what do those things that we've labeled as bad or not good or wish we could change, what have they come to teach us? And exactly what you said, how do we integrate them in a new way? Because
Absolutely.
yeah, of course we all have those things that we go, ooh, I that could be better. I don't want to do that. But that's just the energy we put on them.
Right.
And especially,
Absolutely.
go ahead.
No, no, no. I'm listening. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, especially if we believe that we are whole, perfect, and complete, you know,
Hmm.
then that
Hmm.
means there's no mistake that ruthless was handed down to you on some level. It's the perfect quality to anchor what you need. you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. Like I think the thing about stepping consciously onto a healing journey is really about finding a way to bring all the parts of ourselves home and to step out of the dualism, which really, and I know we'll talk about this after we come back from the break, but when we think about like we're the ones we've been waiting for, which is what that Thich Nhat Hanh quote really meant, like the next Buddha is the Sangha, ain't no savior coming. Speaking of which, I recently learned about this. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not on any of those social media platforms, but I do YouTube. I watch YouTube. I basically don't need to have Disney Plus or anything else because I just watch YouTube. But I saw like there was this thing on TikTok where all these people thought that they were gonna be like stripped naked and taken up into the sky in a rapture.
The rapture, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my God. But I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. But again, it's like, okay, that's because you're waiting for something outside of yourself. We're the ones. We're the Buddha. We're the Sangha. Ain't nobody coming to lift you into the sky. Oh, anyways, all right.
All right, and that's what we're going to talk about. Exactly what we're going to talk about when we come back from the break. As Natasha said last week and this week, the Thich Nhat Hanh quote: "The Buddha, the next Buddha is the Sangha," or "We are the ones we've been waiting for." Any of those things. So we're going to talk about that. What does that really mean? What does that
It
really
don't mean
mean?
you're gonna get stripped naked and lifted into the sky, but I wish I could have seen people outside naked waiting to get lifted into the sky. That would have given me everything. That would have given me so much life.
Okay. and and so this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a break, and then Ruthless Natasha and I will be back right here on New Thought Media Network. So come on back.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center, Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
Well, hello there. This is Dr. Sydney Steen. I am the senior minister and spiritual leader of the North Hollywood Church of Religious Science. We are a oneness center for spiritual living. And I just want to invite you to something that I think is really, really special. In October, from the 6th to the 10th, at Unity Village in Lee Summit, Missouri, the Affiliated New Thought Network will be hosting the most wonderful retreat. This will serve your soul. It will lift your heart. And oh my goodness, I want to call it an advance. So come hear wonderful speakers like Martha Creek, Sonny Cantrell, and the music will be off the hook with Ricky Byers. There will be so much there to support your soul. I hope that you will join us. You can go to antn.org. That's antn.org. You can get all the information. You can sign up. You can use a credit card, and it is safe and secure, and I hope to see you there. Have a blessed day.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life, it's free. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello, welcome back to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. We are here today to talk about We Are the Ones We've Been Waiting For. And Thich Nhat Hanh's quote, "The next Buddha is the Sangha." And what does that mean?
Yeah.
I'm Robyn Rice Olmsted.
I'm Dr.
And
Natasha Wilson.
Dr. Natasha Wilson is right here, right now. So if you're out there listening, please feel free to let us know where you're watching from, and throw out a question or a thought if you have them for us. We'd love to talk with you. And where do we begin, Dr. Natasha?
Well,
the next Buddha is the Sangha.
I think it as much as I was sort of like having a great, like in my head, like laugh about how much I would have liked to like walk out and just see butt naked people waiting to be raptured. This is kind of the opposite of it, right? The next Buddha is the Sangha. It's like the inverse of that, right? Waiting butt naked on your lawn to be lifted into the sky. This is like, no, we're saving ourselves. My daughter's knocking on the door. I'm so sorry, people.
So yeah, we are the ones we've been waiting for. We're saving ourselves. I think that's a great point. I mean, to think about, what does that really mean? Because I know sometimes it's hard for me to save myself from myself. And so when it gets big like that, it becomes a different charge. Are you back?
What do you mean when you get when it
I said
gets
sometimes
big?
it's hard for me to save myself from myself.
Okay.
So when I think about we are the ones that we've been waiting for, it's sometimes that feels overwhelming.
Why? Why does that feel overwhelming? I'm curious.
Because sometimes it feels like a lot of responsibility. I mean, sometimes it feels like, I mean, not always. I'm just saying in general, sometimes it's, when I find myself not being as compassionate as I think, or as loving, or as understanding, or any of those things, then I think, is it really me? Is it really mine to do? So what does that, so say more about what that saying, really, like the personal reflection or interpretation on your part is.
It literally, to me, like, it's really straightforward. It's like we have to be willing to look inside of our own hearts and deliver ourselves, right? And when I say deliver ourselves, we could easily use a metaphysical interpretation of what it means to be reborn, right? So we look inside of ourselves and we re-deliver ourselves from all the things we've been told about ourselves so that we can discover who and what we truly are, and then contribute to being enlightened in the world, contribute to being a light in the world, because I think that's what we're here to do. But what happens is we get born, and I know, like, in a workshop I usually do this thing where, like, like, there's like this, I use an image of, like, let's just say these are our essence, right? I'm just saying this, my glasses. Let's just say these are the essence, right? Our essence. So we get born, and then the world covers up in us in all kinds of stuff. We get covered in all kinds of stuff. And so our work, when we decide to step consciously on the path of healing, is literally removing all the things that's been placed on us so we can remember the truth of who we are. And when we do that, that is how we become the light that lighted up the world. And it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't feel, it feels, I don't want to say feel, it is a big responsibility, but that's what we're here for. We're here to be adult citizens of the universe. We're not here for other people to tell us who and what we are. We're here to discover that. We're here to discover God as us. That is huge. And it is a huge responsibility. And it feels 10 times better than being covered up in all the crap the world tells us that we are. So it's a responsibility, and it feels good when we're doing. Not always. We have painful, like, pain points that get tapped on. But at the end of the day, the joy of being the truth of who and what we are is so much, it's just so worth it.
Well, and I would say that the pain points are generally growth spurts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I want to say, I think that the sayings, even though they allude to sort of the same thing, I think that they're different.
What do you mean?
The two sayings that we just highlighted, because I think we are the ones we've been waiting for. I get that we're using the collective we, but it's, for me, it still puts it in the I frame. Does that make sense? From the I, I'm still, if I'm part of that. And whereas the Buddha, the next Buddha is the Sangha. The Sangha generally refers to, like, the community of practitioners, which I get that that's the same thing, but it's like, it feels more like finite, more chiseled, in that, like, a community of practitioners. And that to me feels like we're all banding together and doing and practicing mindfulness or peace or kindness or whatever it is, love.
Mm.
And I get that it's the same, and yet it's a little, I don't know why, it's a little nuance for me that I feel, I don't know, I feel more singular in the we are the ones we've been waiting for. Whereas the Sangha, the community of practitioners, I feel like we're a tribe. So, and I think, and we are a tribe.
We are. At the end of the day, we're these Homo sapiens floating around on this big blue ball called Earth, right? Like, trying to figure it out to the best of our ability, but we're all on this big blue Earth that, I love Octavia Butler, right? Like, Earth space, this spaceship called Earth, like, just moving through space. And this is the paradox. There's both the we and there's an I. and they enter R, to now quote more Thich Nhat Hanh. They enter R, right? There's no we that doesn't also compose of multiple I's. Like they don't need to be separate. I think the way that the English language itself is structured, and I think if we study the history of this language, it is really structured in a way to make us feel separate from each other. And so leaning into this notion that the next enlightened one is the community, not just the community of practitioners, but the community of all of us, particularly those of us who step consciously on it, because we're all on a healing path, but step consciously on a healing path. We're the next, and that's what the Buddha means the enlightened one. We're the next
Absolutely.
one. It's us.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we got. It's us.
Yeah, I'm not referring to practitioners as in licensed practitioners of CSL or Science of Mind or Unity or any of that. I meant practitioners being we who practice the presence, who practice
Right.
the peace, the mindfulness.
Absolutely. That's what I thought you meant. That's what I thought you meant.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so here's the question. Do you think that we, I mean, I'm not saying we as a spiritual community, because basically we are speaking to a spiritual community here. Generally, those that find us have some idea of what we're talking about. Maybe not, maybe you're new, maybe whatever. But as a spiritual community, can a spiritual community become the Buddha, so to speak, or the presence of peace and all of that, without having a central teacher or guru or minister? Or
Are you asking me?
You're the only one here.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just a general question.
I'll tell you my answer right away.
Okay.
Is yes. Like I live here in Australia. I'm not a part of I don't go to a New Thought community. I don't even know where I don't even know if we have them here. My work is to be a part of awakening. Whether I have a central teacher or not, I have several central teachers. I have several. They come to me in the forms of books. They come to me in the form of Thich Nhat Hanh. They come to me in the form of Gary Zukav. They come to me in the form of Michael Beckwith. They come to me in the form of Reverend Gill. They come to me in the form of Reverend Michael. It comes to me in for I don't have a central teacher. I have many teachers. And my job is to live as best I can an awakened life. And what does that mean? It goes back into the card we pulled. It means being willing to discover what it means to be the divine, called this thing Natasha Wilson. And do I need a central teacher for that? No, I think we've moved beyond that. I think we can have central teachers, but do I think it's a requirement? No. I have lots of teachers. Lots of teachers.
I agree with you. And I agree with you in theory. And I guess, for me the question goes a little bit I don't want to say deeper, but speaking to past experience, when everybody followed, not everybody, but when Jesus was the one that was the primary leader, or Muhammad, or, Allah, or whoever it is that you follow, and it's like, I don't know. in theory, I agree with you, and in general, I don't know. I don't know
Well,
the answer to
here's
this
the thing.
world
I
we
think
live in.
this is what we're being called to evolve beyond, like looking to someone to save us, right? I feel like we can have multiple teachers. I feel like it's important to be a part of a spiritual community. And at the end of the day, we have to come home to our own hearts. We
Mhm.
have to come home to our own hearts. This is a really responsible thing to undertake, because it's like we're not giving up our consciousness and our will to someone outside of ourselves. It's turning to the God within. Yes, we can have guidance on that path, but I think we have to be really mindful about how as a species, we in the past we made the pastor the God, we made the reverend the God. There are people who make Donald Trump God. Is why I just don't, I don't really take him serious, because you know what I mean? It's just like the authority has to come back to us as sovereign beings. We have to
Mhm.
be willing to claim that, to be the Buddha, to be the enlightened ones, to be the Sangha that wakes up. Is that easy? Probably not. But it does mean we have to let go of a lot of old mode, like ways of thinking. Like we have to.
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you. And
We don't have to. We can like die out. I get that's also an option.
yeah, there's options. But I mean, in order to continue, I agree with you. And I think, but then the work comes in if we really are the ones we've been waiting for, and we're
Hmm.
going to embody that and carry that um, into daily life. Like, what is that I mean, that in a lot of ways that would change our relationships to almost everything. But a good portion, like if I really, I've been thinking about this a lot this week,
Hmm.
and it may have even come up on our show yesterday, I don't know, but I've been thinking about our, your values, my values. And
Hmm.
what are my values? I did a thing where you have to write down 10 of your values and then narrow it down to 5. And then, so taking those values, like, are you living from those values every day? Are you,
Hmm.
where, how do those values play into this? And what I'm saying is, I hear you and I agree with you. And, about it being us, there's so many places we can get this information and get nurtured and all of that. And so when it comes here, when you said it perfectly, actually, when it comes to you hold your values and you know, look at uh, Reverend Gill or Reverend Michael or Michael Beckwith or whoever. And then what happens when the person comes along that disagrees and thinks it's Donald Trump or somebody else, someone out there, someone, whatever. And how do we stay in love, or if that's one of your values, or compassion, or kindness, or openness, or whatever it is? Like, can we bring that in? Because I think when it says the next Buddha is the Sangha. When I think of Buddha, it's that place of surrender and openness to all on some level.
Hmm.
So how do we, it's one thing to say it. How do we really do it? Because it, I'm not gonna lie, it's challenging sometimes to see the face of God in everybody. Do I know
Hmm.
they are God? Yeah, sure, I do. I do. And it's challenging. I don't just go,
Look,
huh.
I am not okay, Robyn. I don't know. Maybe I'm I know what my values are, and it's interesting because my top 5 values, none of them actually include love, because it love is real has been so convoluted as a concept. Like for me, my top value is peace. So I pass every question, decision through the lens of peace. If I do this thing, how does it contribute to peace? How does it contribute to peace in my own self? How does it contribute to peace in the world? My other value is worthiness, and then kindness, and then gentleness and connection. Those are my values. I think
Yeah.
taken together, right? They all look something like what we call love. And I am under no obligation to be extending myself to people who um, decide to engage in behavior that is harmful. I can extend love and peace to them over there. I'm not the Buddha yet. I am not the enlightened one. Like at all, right? I'm like, you can maybe at some point in my evolution, I'll be like, yes, I can hold everybody in this beautiful fold. But until then, I'm willing to practice the principles that matter to me in a way that contributes to my wellness and the wellness of my community and the wellness of people that I care about. So I don't have I can let the divine, the big divine, right? I can let that divine love Donald Trump and and the people who follow him. I can let that divine love them. I don't think mm-mm.
It's a journey. We're all at different places in the journey, and I think that, I mean, there's so many facets to this, because in general, yes, I agree. We've got to. I mean, to me, it talks. These quotes talk about oneness and talk about, just that, and peace. Definitely peace. Like bringing that peace into alignment with ourselves and with the world. And
Mm.
there's so much to those quotes, and yet there's also questions like, like you said, you're not the enlightened one, and is enlightenment something, I don't know, is it something that we arrive at, or something that we remember together? Is
I
it,
think it's a process.
you think it's what?
A process.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know right now. I don't know,
I think
and what would need to shift in society if people truly believed, we're the ones that we've been waiting for. There's so much to be discussed here, so much empowerment and recognition and acceptance and clarity. And I mean, we could go on and on and on, but we can't.
girl, girl, I know I'm not yet the Buddha, and I know that because I'm still waiting for my neighbors who believe in a rapture to go on the lawn and be naked and wait to be taken into the sky. Okay. So I know I'm not enlightened because I'm still waiting for that. I just want that, and I want it on video because I need it. That gives me life. I just want them all out there butt naked, hearing the trumpets. Somebody, I'll play the trumpet, and then like while they wait to be taken into the sky. So you see, I know I'm not the enlightened one because I'm still waiting for that. While I drink out of my mug that is a witch because I'm kind of witchy.
Oh, so many questions, so many things to uncover. Well, we have come to the end of our time. So
It
it,
happens.
it happens so quickly, but that's the way it is. So that's I think that bringing the card into play that we pulled along with the topic about being uniquely yourself, that's the charge, and that's how we are going to come together, when you are uniquely you and truly, strip down, even if you're not going to get butt naked out there, but you strip down to the nakedness of who you are, truly who you are, not who you aren't, because I know we're all masters at denying that we're smart or pretty or enough or whatever that is. but truly who you are. And when we bring that together as a collective and are truly sharing our gifts, then we will be the Sangha.
We are the Sangha already. We just dysfunctional.
For the dysfunctional Sangha. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Uniquely ourselves and the dysfunctional Sangha. Okay. So join us next week for more inspiration. Oh, gosh. All right. Thank you so much. And, you got to laugh. We got to laugh. What else can we do, right? So thank you for laughing along with us. Please feel free to comment again and like us and tell your friends and bring your friends. And, if you're moved, we are open to receive your donations right here on New Thought Media Network. And that'll just help us continue to do good work in the world. So thank you for being along for the ride. Thank you, producer Michael Mangus. You can see him tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time on New Thought Media Network. So there's a plethora of things to do.
Wrong. I think you got the time for Reverend Michael wrong.
No, I don't think so. Or he would have popped in and told me.
It is 6 o'clock Mountain Time, 8
That's what I
o'clock
said.
Eastern on your New Thought Media Network.
There you go. I just want to say for the record that I was right. Okay. Because I don't know why. I feel like I need to be right now because I'm about to walk into that room with teenagers.
Be right. Be right. Be right.
All right, sister. All right. Good to see you. Good to connect with the outback over there and the foresty side.
I don't live in the outback. I live in like the lush part. The outback is like the desert. I live on this side of the dividing range.
It's just claim the whole country. It's one. You've got it all.
But I don't want to live over there.
Okay. You don't have to.
I love
all right. Okay. Bye. Thanks, everybody. See you next week.